Hello, my soul brothers and soul sisters. I am Ron Smith, and this is the Dr. Ron Smith Investigate Show, where we separate the real from fake, the fact from fiction, and give you the winner's edge. And sometimes we're able to turn your water into wine. We are in season 3, and this is episode number 9. In today's episode, we're talking about how to retire broke. Let that resonate a little bit. How to retire broke. You know, I always give you tips on how to create a financial plan to be successful. But I'm going to give you some tips on how you retire broke. And I always say people don't plan to fail; they just fail to plan. And in order to reverse that, is that you have to prepare to and prevent, or repair and repent. And I'm going to really just touch on what I call the 6 P's: prior, proper planning, prevent poor performance. Prior, proper planning, prevent poor performance. I'll say that real fast 3 times. But having no plan is a surefire way for money to slip through your hands. I remember one time, the first time I had a $100 bill, and I kept it in my pocket just in case. When something came up that I really needed some money, and I spent it. And after I broke that $100 bill, I cannot tell you where the rest of that change went. I don't know if even if I spent $10 or $20, the $90 or the $80 just vanished. So we need a way to stop living from paycheck to paycheck and learn the reverse of how to go broke. But here's some things that will cause you to go broke. First, not even considering having a plan, not talking to knowledgeable people, and creating a plan. That's a surefire way of that you will retire broke. Also, if you don't have a plan for your money, other people will have a plan to get rid of your money or get that money out of your purse or your pocket. One of the things that, there are several ways, and we're going to talk about them. Living beyond your means is one of the surefire ways of going broke. Not having what I don't like to use the term emergency fund, but for the sake of not having a better word to describe it, is that you're going to have an emergency. And what I mean by that, I mean basically from buying new tires, because you didn't have to plan on buying new tires, or the hot water heater go out, or the vacuum cleaner go out, or some of the something within let's say from $500 to $1,000 that happens to you that you need to repair, that you cannot continue your own schedule, your own comfort of life, et cetera, without addressing this situation immediately. And not understanding how to use leverage. And, basically I talk about OPM, buying those large ticket items. Not having understanding with cash flow, cash flow in, your income coming in, you have to address those expenses as well. But if you don't understand what the cash flow in and cash flow out, that's a sure ways that you will not have enough money that you can address those incidentals that basically will affect your long-term financial plan. And protection. And when I talk about protection, I'm talking about insurance. And we're going to go in a little bit more in depth on that. But not having a spending plan, which means that basically understanding what I mentioned, your income to your expenses, not having a budget, which means basically that basically there's some needs, wants, and there's some long-term things that you have to consider when you have that budget. Your housing, your car, food, those are things that you need, clothing, entertainment, even that iPhone, it's not necessarily a need. I mean, you can always go to the other side. My Android lovers, they look at us strange because I got an iPhone, but that is not a necessarily expense. I used I guess the description of if I was trying to lose weight. I cannot lose weight if I ignore my food intake. I can't lose weight if I don't exercise. And the thing about it is that I can want all those things, but if I don't have a dedicated plan that, hey, I'm going to get up before work or before I start my schedule, after I do my meditation, my prayer, and I prepare myself spiritually and mentally, then I get out there and do some exercise. If I don't have a plan, and when I was really an avid runner, I used to have my running shoes. I used to have my tights, my shorts, and my shirt. I have all those things ready. So basically, when I get up, I do my meditation and have my spiritual development time, getting my mind right. I would just be able to just put those things on and hit the street. So I had a plan, and basically, if you're going to go broke, don't have a plan. And one of the things also is that if financially, you have to be very, very observant. What I mean by your cash flow, we mean that basically, I am a big fan of Starbucks, but there are less expensive ways that you can actually do Starbucks. Believe it or not, Starbucks sells I like my shot of espresso. Stop hating. But Starbucks in the grocery store sell a drink that is less expensive than if I go to the actually Starbucks on the corner. That's just one of the ways that I have learned how to cut back. And think about it is that even lunches. If I was trying to reduce and I had a goal to, they were saying that basically if I let's say if I fast lunch once a day for the 5 days, that from I was going to say $5, but lunch costs more than that. Let's say that $10 that and that's on the low end that I would spend for lunch. That would be $50 that I can actually put aside for my emergency fund. So think about that's what $50 a month but let's say by 4 weeks. That's $200 that basically I can start putting aside for my quote quote emergency fund, and basically even shopping online, even though it's less expensive to shop online, but sometimes we get carried away with those overseas type companies that give you those very good deals. Instead of buying one jacket, now I think I could get two. But the idea is I don't need but one, so we have to cut back on those. Those small expenses do add up very quickly. Not keeping track of all those expenses adds up, and basically that's how we have more month than money at the end. Here's one of the things that I had to learn the hard way: ignoring debt. When you get those bills coming in the mail, or they be in your email or whatever, however you get your invoices, you can't ignore them. And I used to tell people all the time, bad news don't get better with time. And I put that in my debt pile. So sooner or later, you're going to have to reconcile that. So the longer you put that off, doesn't make it better. So you got to confront that. You got to have a plan up front. Okay. Not saving for retirement is a surefire way that you're going to retire broke. Now, I did not learn this. It's one of the things that I learned after is that retirement, especially, I had a son and daughter, and my emphasis was making sure that they had college money going to the, either college or, helping them with their masters. But here's the deal. Whether they decided to go to college or not, you will retire. You will one day be the last day on the job. No matter how much you love it, it will. Now, whether they go to college or not, it's always an option. Retirement is not going to be an option. So you should be planning for your retirement, then plan for your children's education. And retirement comes for that dream house. So if you want a hierarchy of how you should plan in, and just my suggestion is that retirement should come first, and maybe that college education, you could do 529, et cetera, and the next be that that dream house that you're dreaming of. And one of the things you have to realize that Social Security is not going to be enough. Matter of fact, it was actually, back a couple of years ago, they were saying that basically your retirement should be like a three-legged stool, which means basically your Social Security, your pension plan, and your own 401k, IRA, etc. That should be in your retirement plan. And I said that basically that should be minimum. If you can't do more, and I advise more than at least 4 to 5 income streams, but you definitely need those 3. If you neglect setting money goals, you got to have a dream in order for a dream to come true. And the thing about it is that I just gave you a suggestion of how you could create an emergency fund by just not eating lunch. I mean, you eat a good breakfast, you go home and eat a good dinner. Or eat a large lunch, not lunch, eat a large breakfast, or I would even suggest eating a brunch that would cover you from your 11 to 3 o'clock. So, you might just grab a snack from 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 whenever you get home. But the thing about it is, you have to have a plan for retirement. I'm not a big old 401k plan, but if you don't have anything else that you feel comfortable with, or IRA, do that. And just as saving for a down payment on your home, just as saving for college, you got to have a plan to do all those things. Falling prey to instant gratification. It goes back to, and I'm laughing right now because a lot of people still think that retail therapy is a solution to whatever they're going through. Now, retail therapy is instant gratification, which means that basically once you put it on, once somebody see you in those red bottom shoes and that beautiful blazer, how often they're going to remember that. If it's fashionable and it's such a outstanding outfit, where else can you wear that? Once you wear those shoes again, people will say, oh yeah, she got those old shoes again. So retail therapy is not a solution to what you're going through. Shoes, clothes, cars. It's almost like, I can get that 4-door Porsche, which I like. And matter of fact, it came out, I think, 3 years ago. And I just saw a new one the other day that looked better than the one I first saw. So even that new car that I really enjoyed, I saw myself in even a newer one today. So those retail therapy is not it. So we're talking about how to retire broke. We're going to take a break right now, and we're going to continue trying to reverse the curse. Hello, my soul brothers and soul sisters. We're talking about how to retire broke. And I mean that basically, normally I give you an upbeat and say, hey, this is how we're going to do it. But I need to suggest some strategies so you can reverse what I call reverse the curse, which means that basically prepare and prevent or repair or repent. And I also gave you the other 6 P's: prior, proper, planning, prevent, poor performance. When I was in the Marine Corps, we had another P in there, but I can't say that on the air. So we're talking about number one, how you go broke. These are how you go broke strategies: ignoring your debt, not saving for retirement, neglecting to set financial goals, falling prey to instant gratification. And that's where I left off at. Now, the next one is fear of investment. Now, back in 1994, just for a little brief history, up until that point, each corporation and each, even the government, had a planned retirement for all its employees. Of course, companies and these mega companies and corporation petitioned Congress that we need to actually have a where the employees can have a cooperative investment plan for retirement, which would save them money. So basically, that's what it was. They didn't want to pay for your pension. So the I would say the babies out of that concept was the 401k and the IRA, which means they, instead of them investing your money for your retirement, they wanted you to invest your money for retirement. So basically, that's how this whole thing come about. Now, what I know for sure is that when these corporations, they had professional people who invest your money. So it was a more advantageous that you would have money for retirement. They thrust this whole responsibility on the employees without any investment experience, which I thought was unfair, and I still think it was unfair. So basically, they gave you that responsibility without giving you the knowledge and the experience of how to do that, which means that you still need someone else to teach you how to do it, or you at someone else's mercy to use your money at your expense. Now, my pros is that basically you do have professionals doing it. My cons to that whole concept is that the administrative fees that they charge benefit them more than benefits you, which means that basically whether the stock go up or down, they're still their fees. You hear, and I'm not going to name this for, well, I'm not going to go there because I'm about to call the name. They say when you do better, they do better. All I got to do is recommend that you watch the small print, know what fees they are being charged, and understand if it's a no load or load type of mutual fund or stock, which means I probably needed to get more into that. But since I opened that can of worm, I probably need to do a show on that. But my point is that you need to invest in your education so you can overcome that fear. It's almost like, you see professional, let's say, professionals who are in sports, professionals in entertainment, and even yourself. You went through training to be the professional, even if you was let's say you was a CPA, you had to get, your 12 years of education, 4 years of college, and then basically take the CPA exam if you wasn't an accountant major, or if you was an accountant major, all that training so you can get confident that to do taxes or to be the, a PA or a CPA for a corporation. Since you have this responsibility to do your own investing, what you do when they talk to you about what you want to invest in with your 401k plan or IRA, educate yourself as much as possible. and I have a couple of books that I'm going to share at the end, and something that basically to help you along the way. Or you talk to somebody like me who's somewhat knowledgeable about what do you need to look out for when you start talking about, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, treasury bills, high yield savings accounts, et cetera, et cetera. Seek help is what I'm saying. I can't overemphasize that. Do not live in fear of investment. Next, neglecting insurance. Now, your health is your wealth. So number one, you should make sure you're taking care of yourself. Like I mentioned before, before I even get up and start, my exercise routine, I have my prayer and meditation time. That's developing me my spiritual and my mental, and then I get out there and run a little bit, or it might be my calisthenics day. I used to lift weights when I was a couple of days younger than I am right now, but since I don't have to chase nobody and nobody's chasing me, I don't lift weights as much. And I think I'm a little smarter than fighting like I probably will rumble a little bit in my younger years. Now, I don't recover as fast. So therefore, I don't get into those kind of confrontations anymore. I think I use my brain. I think my way out of those situations. But think about insurance, and we talk about health, life, and then your renters or mortgage insurance, et cetera, et cetera. And along those lines, think about long-term care. And I just want to really stick that in there because my generation, I'm a couple of years past 50. I'm dealing with some issues with my children and grandchildren. But at one time, I was also my parent that I was dealing with, my mother, some issues with her. So financially, I was in that what they call that bridge or that sandwich situation, where I'm in the middle, but had to navigate how I was going to help my mother and then how I was going to help my children. And now I'm in this situation with my grands. So it's not only I would say a continually schedule, but there are some incidents that basically I have to go into. Remember, I talked about that emergency fund that basically you skip lunch, $50 a week. I had to go into that fund to address either my children and grandchildren or my parent at that time. So think of your insurance or your emergency fund as a parachute. I mean, you don't plan to fall out the plane, but just in case you do, it's there when you need it. It could save your life. And I talked about this before, but I want to reiterate it. So now I put in another bullet point: avoiding financial education. Now, one reason why you listen to me right now is because I created this whole platform talking about the conversation I wish I had when I was younger. It basically, if I had this conversation when I was younger, I would emphasize this one point. It's not how much you earn, but it's how much you manage to be effective. And my goal from the rest of my life from this point on is to be a very better steward and to actually maximize the money that I do have. We all can dream about winning the lottery or dream about getting in a position where basically, where we are very successful financially. But one of the things that I like to do is talk, especially when I'm talking to individually, how do you maximize the income that you currently have? That's the name of the goal. What are you doing with what you have right now? Because that's the key. Are you being a proper steward in your stewardship of what you have right now? So I want to talk about educating yourself. and I gave this illustration or some financial books that has helped me in the past. And I mentioned, your 401k, your IRA. This book would help you. It's by Joe Bugle. They call it The Little Book of Common Sense Investing. It is not too complicated. It's on a level that basically, even at a high school level of reading or educating, you could be able to pick up on. But the other one is The Mindset. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and also Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dennis Kilbrough. Those are two of my favorite books to get your mind right in order for you to prepare to do this task. And also The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clausen, which is a classic. I'm not even sure when this book was published, but it is a classic. I Would Teach You to Be Rich is also a good book regarding investing, and it's by Remit Seth. And basically, what he talked about is target dating investing, which means that if you are new on your job, just starting your career, whether you're in the middle of your career or end of your career, he's talking about basically being aggressive, kind of moderating it, and then basically go into the really general stuff that you won't be losing money at the end. The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley, basically he was saying that basically there are millionaires around us, and you would never know because basically they don't wear the fancy clothes, the jewelry, the cars, etc. But if you look at their portfolio, you will realize that basically they are millionaires. And I like this one. It's called Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robbins. And basically what she is saying that, are you working for money, or is the money working for you? Which means that basically your time that you're spending is worth a dollar figure. And one of the things, example that I gave my son, because I think at the time he won some Jordans, and the Jordans were like $300. And I told him, do you know how many hours I have to work for $300? I had to break it down to him to that point where, and I think I was kind of like, I don't know if I was making $25 an hour or $30 an hour at that time. So if you could do, I made him do the math of almost, that's a day's work that he was asking me to spend on one item. And then we went over, and of course he was a teenager. I don't know whether he got it or not. He didn't get the sneakers, but it was a point of showing him the time of my life that I had to spend on work for that material thing. And my favorite book, and your favorite probably, Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That was one of the books that actually get you right in the mindset. Basically, he was saying that basically he had one father who was real PhD, and he had the other father or mentor that basically did investment. And he was sharing the difference of how his PhD father was kind of financially drained at the end in his career, having all the debt, where his investment father invest in real estate was more financially well off. How to retire broke. I went through, about 6 or 7 items that if you don't prepare and prevent, you have to repair and repent. My time is up, and I thank you for yours. See you next time.